Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. It is December 20th. Got about an hour to market close. We're going to talk about the stock market, sell off today on SPY, some of the catalysts for that, some GameStop, some of the options, how last week went from my margin call, and what everything settled out to be. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. We have a Twitter you can follow us on at HappyMoneyYT, as well as a Discord server. Link is in the description for that. And no tweets over the weekend. I like to have exposure in case some kind of news catalyst over the weekend for GME. Nothing over the weekend, so no big deal. And I've been, with my kind of theta farming accounts, I've been selling calls pretty much in the first hour. And then today, for whatever reason, I didn't. I was like, okay, I think we're gonna run. I think maybe because pickle's in my head a little bit, and I mean TA is pointing to bullishness too. But I was like, oh, we might have a huge move, and I don't want to sell them too early. So I held off, and I haven't sold them yet. Maybe I'll sell them at close though, even though the rest of this week could be pretty good. But yeah, so I have shares on here, 100 on here. I'll sell covered calls on here, and then I've got these shares and this call, this leap, so I can sell covered calls on those. And then in this one, actually, we do have these two different calls for this week also, the 205 and the 165 call. So those might do well. I don't know. It's only 3 days this week, so we're gonna have to see some pretty good price action. I guess I didn't pay a whole lot for them because they're still, yeah, I mean they're holding up in value pretty well, honestly. SPY, big sell-off today. Call it whatever you want to call it. There was the one news that was maybe a surprise for most was that the Build Back Better program got shut down, which was basically another, I don't know, 2 or 3 trillion in money that was going to get put back into the system. And so that definitely turned a lot of stuff red. On the hourly here, SPY is just stair-stepping down. Oversold a little bit. Probably somewhat of a consolidation bounce, filling this gap a bit for the rest of this week. Probably pretty slow into Christmas. Typically the volume's pretty low coming into Christmas. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking for SPY. We got extra or assigned on our shares on SPY, so those longer dated, bigger call credit spreads we had are now closed. However, we did make money on that. I didn't make 35 grand or whatever, but we did actually. I think I made like 4 grand from the assignment, and then closing out just from the covered calls losing value so quickly. It'd be cool if you could strategize to do that, but you can't. So whatever. It worked out, and I don't think I opened up anything new on SPY, but probably some longer dated bearish plays would be good on it. It's now rejected this 473 area 3 times, so I think it's pretty safe to say it's only going to come down from here or stay below here basically. Got GME over here. It's kind of starting to pop a little bit. Volume today on GameStop has been low. That 1.5 million, not even 1.5, which is relatively low for the last couple weeks we've seen. And yeah, just real dry. Low liquidity. Yesterday was 4.3, Friday rather 2.1, the day before 2.7. The day's not over today. We might get some late last hour covering or closing or rolling or whatever they do. It brings in some volume. Yeah, got a couple volume spikes here, so we'll see what happens with that. But it still looks good on the hourly. Still got a bullish MACD. Today was kind of a premium killer day probably, but at any rate it's still grinding up. I have this line here just because I thought that would probably be a resistance line from back here, and sure enough today it kind of tested that and got rejected. So we'll see if it can break this today or tomorrow and then move on up to the next resistance. But 4 hours looking good also. Bullish MACD, green over the 9. Kind of even more bullish on this 4 hour, kind of this bull flag thing. Daily still hasn't crossed over. It'll probably be at least towards the end of the week unless we get a big day. for this to cross over. We'll see what happens once it gets close. If it just touches and then kind of consolidates and comes down, that would not be good as far as price action. Good if you want to get a better deal on GME shares. But what I'm kind of looking for is, yeah, just for it to. Oh no, I had that on 1.5 times. I thought just because I had my coffee. There, I slowed the music down a little bit. I thought it was just, yeah, hopefully, I think we'll hold the support as long as we get that daily to flip bullish, and it kind of consolidates. Because just remembering back here, this strange price action each day, I was like, this is weird, and then it kept going up, and then finally it let go. So we're not in this trend, I don't think, at this point. But if we don't switch bullish on that MACD, I think we will be. Zooming out, looking at it from a little bit bigger of a perspective. December, January cycle. We'll see. It seems like it's starting to. If we do get a spike in the next 30 days, it's going to just. They've flipped stuff around. Stuff is changing, which is good, and we're getting more spikes more often. I'd say, not as high, but more often. So maybe getting into a tighter range before we squeeze. Or yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have any more of these just pinches anymore up to 350 as we were expecting for here and here. It seems like that's probably over, and they're just trying to scatter it and do as random of price action, and some covering here, some shorting there, some ETFs there, some options there, and trying to probably throw off anybody looking at charts that's trying to predict a certain movement. So also the fact that we broke this low actually is pretty interesting back here, and we are now just kind of hanging out actually. So that's another one of my concerns as far as going along, because yeah, I mean, this could still flip and we could still break this low. We've seen it done before. So the fact that we broke this one and then broke this and aren't making higher lows, yeah, this is the first time that's happened really all year. So it looks good though. It looks good. I mean, on a shorter term basis. See what happens, I guess, the rest of this week and next week. But if the volume doesn't come in, we probably won't see much price action. But that's nice. GME 157 above VWAP, and still low volume, just a couple little volume spikes here and there. And we're now green on the day. So outperformed, I'd say, the market for the most part. It's a good hedge. It's my big hedge against a downturn market. Show you the options that we did. Saw those on here. Probably sell some calls coming into close. Made a few moves today. Starbucks put. So here's our call. Credit spread on SPY. Give this some more time to decay. It's 462, 463, so it should be fine out of the money. Got till Thursday on that, and then GME opened up a couple zebra plays. Shout out dog. Basically it's a 100 delta option play, just like it would be if you owned 100 shares, but it's cheaper, a lot cheaper than buying 100 shares, but you do have an expiration. So what's nice is you're not, it's much easier to hold than, say, just a long call, because you're not being killed by theta. So I'll show you those here in a second. We'll see actually where GME is going to find some resistance up here. I'm kind of curious. Yeah, I wonder if it'll break through that. That'd be very good coming in tomorrow. If it breaks through that kind of 160. Oh, the max pain also. Wanted to mention they brought it way down, 157.5. So might be max pain again for this week, or maybe not. We'll see. I mean, even if we get a big spike up to 175 or whatever, it still could come down to that max pain area, which would be like 160. Excuse me. I sold some more covered calls on birds. Just the 10 strike still. I figured I'm not going to go any higher. That's 20 delta. So sold those, 600 and something premium. It's really nice selling calls on shares you want to keep, but I don't know. Yeah. Let's see, where are those? I want to keep them, but I'm also like, I'm fine to roll it over too. It's right here. This was, oh, never mind. 8th. Is that it? No. Oh, I have some leaps here. Yeah, covered calls. Yeah, 825. Yeah, not bad. So 825, that gives it a month of time though, so 32 days. Quite a bit of time. It very likely could be past that in that month, depending on what the market's doing. And so far, Birds has kind of moved on its own, really. Some days it like inverse the SPY pretty heavy. Just I don't know at what point in a stock's life does it start to like. I mean, I guess once it's added to certain ETFs, it'll move with those. But other than that, this thing's kind of just sporadic. It seems like it's strange. Anyways, yeah, our moves. This is so I opened actually a bullish play this morning on Tesla, and then I closed it just for a little gain. I figured it would bounce, and we got a little. I opened it. Where did I open it? I actually opened it like here, and I closed it like here. So did it real quick, little gain, and it's a good thing because this is just bearish. We might get a bounce on Tesla in the market. I'm kind of expecting that this week, somewhat of a bounce, but maybe not. Might just keep coming down. I sold a put on GameStop. Sold it a little early today, but it's all right. There's still pretty good premium. I sold a 155 put. Basically, I'm fine to hold the shares, or I wanted to buy the shares, so I was like, I'll just sell a put, and I expect it to be higher than that by expiration. But at any rate, I would gladly take another 100 at 155. Received 750 in credit for that, and I sold it at like the worst time. I sold it basically. I saw momentum going up, and I'm like, we might just start rallying today. I sold it basically right here. Like, oh, everything's bullish, and then so could have gotten a few more hundred for it. But yeah, now just with the time decay and everything like that, it's up 14%. So yeah, selling premium, time is is on your side. Opposite of buying premium. This is me trying to sell covered calls and just, yeah, not getting premium. About to open. Okay, so here's the first zebra I opened up. I went kind of heavy on this week, actually. I think pickle's in my head a little bit, and hopefully it works out. But what's nice about this play is your break even is basically where you bought it, or sometimes even less than where you opened up at. So in the sense of buying shares, it's very similar. You don't lose money on shares unless you sell it for less than you paid for it, and that'd be the same with this zebra play. So this is this is Thursday. I'll show it on the other screen. It'll be easier for you to see. And then Tesla. What? That's the close. Oh, and then opened up another, I think, bearish play on Tesla. Yeah, I don't, because if I'm expecting Tesla to bounce, but if it doesn't, I still want downside exposure. I got rid of all of it, and we profited on it, but I got rid of all of it. Here's another zebra I opened up, so I'll show you what those look like. Yeah, Tesla, like, it doesn't like to be this low on the RSI, but looking back at it, when it does have like a pretty big move to the downside, it has dipped down to that complete oversold area. So we might be seeing something similar to this. We might be like right in this range right here before we get a big sell-off. So really, puts would probably do well here if you can time the buy-in on them right, where it's not when it's dumping hard and you're paying a huge premium, but on maybe a more consolidating day or a little up day. We might be getting something like this soon with Tesla, 3 or 4 day big move. Because we've kind of had it, but it's kind of been slow and kind of consolidated. But that being said, today might be the day really to get puts on Tesla. They're just so expensive. So I did some call credit spreads, whatever. I'll leave it at that. And GME, another zebra. So here are the zebras. We've got this one for this week. Actually, kind of two of them. So here's a call debit spread for this week. No, it's a call debit spread. So 165, 205. Need GME come up for that to look good. And then here is the zebra for this week. It's a 142, 155. So I bought two 142 calls and I sold a 155 call. Basically, you're looking for 150 delta on the long calls, and then you're looking for 50 delta on the short call. So take the 150, subtract 50, and you end up with 100, right? So this is what it looked like here. This is my option chain, but you can find the delta, you can change your settings or whatever. You can see it'll show you delta. Here's a delta over here. So 75, it's now 81, but yeah, when I bought it, it was 75. So here's 73.5 or 73.8 or 0.73 rather, and there's 76. So you do either one of those, I guess. You see how it looks on the chart. So you buy 2 of those, and then you sell short 50 delta, which would be, right now it's the next one out of the money, so 157.5. And then so here's the premium you're gonna pay. And then what you get though is where is it? Oh, here we go. What you get is break even of 155. So the stock right now is at 157. So your break even is actually lower than it is right now, which is nice. And so you don't have to try and time getting out of the play or, you know, getting in. It's basically holding shares with an expiration date for a lot less cost and not a whole lot in margin requirements. Another way to do this is kind of like a synthetic long. Synthetic longs though take a lot of margin requirement because you have a basically naked put or short put that you need margin for. So this isn't quite right. I don't think quite 100 delta, but it's close. You could change that strike, but basically that's kind of the idea. So your upside is infinite because you have one naked long call, right? You have one naked long call, so you have limited upside on that, and then you have basically long call and a short call. So yeah, if GME goes up, this is just like holding shares, and I can sell it all as a whole, which is probably what I'll do, as if it was shares, or you can leg out of it or whatever. And yeah, so I did that for this week, and I did one for February, and I actually did 2 for this week and then 1 for February. I paid a big premium this morning, but it doesn't matter because look, it doesn't matter a whole lot with this trade, honestly, because you're not really susceptible to time decay, just the way it's structured. So you can see I bought these this morning when the IV was higher, and there was, you know, the price was running up, and this one's up already just because of the price. So you don't need to have IV running up to basically sell this as you would say a call, where you're trying to get the IV to jump and then you sell it. So this can go up as slow or as fast as it wants right here. So here's the underlying price, 153. So just it goes up basically dollar for dollar. So kind of cool setup. Did that one for 3 days, and then did this one for February, the February contracts. I think this one's actually perfect 100 delta. That other one wasn't quite right, but you can see the line here. So basically, if we squeeze by then, this is basically like holding 100 shares. Kind of neat. And now we only have 480 shares on here. I did short a put. If we flip bullish on the daily, I'll be more comfortable to short some more puts maybe, or I don't know, see what happens. But that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Still waiting on news from Loopring. That's got to be coming. I mean, they said this quarter, so if they stick to it, that'll be within the next 2 weeks. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you on Discord. Peace out.